Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mastering Pension Wealth. I'm Elizabeth Harper. Today I'm exploring with Simon the concepts and practical steps from Chapter 1 of the book Mastering Pension Wealth, a Step-by-Step Guide by Yemi Agbebi, the executive producer of this series on pensions for every man. And today we're getting right to the bottom line, how Yemi built a pension pot in excess of £1 million on a salary, which is very interesting since according to a 2024 Pension Bee study, the average British pension pot is £20,077. So Simon, have you ever had someone bark bottom line up front at you before?
You know what? Not in those exact words, but I've definitely had my share of managers wanting me to get straight to the point. I think the whole bluff thing is more military, isn't it? And to your other point about Yemi's £1 million pension savings, yes, it was no mean achievement, but the real lesson is this. If you set yourself a goal and pursue it with unwavering fidelity, there might just be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow after all, Elizabeth.
Absolutely. That was a real nugget of wisdom, Simon. Interestingly, the author's baptism of fire was at Warsash, a merchant navy college run along military lines, and it was his second day on campus. Imagine this, teenager, late, nervous, and this senior cadet just cuts him off, bottom line up front, when he dared to ask where his lecture theatre was because he was running late and lost. At the time, he was sort of stunned, but it stuck. It taught the author how to prioritise, whether he's asking for directions or structuring his finances. It's about putting the why first and clearing the noise.
Yeah, I get that be there, be brief, be gone, and it's such a useful mindset for money, isn't it? So many people, especially when they're just starting work, get bogged down in the details, overthinking investments, overcomplicating things. But if you just ask, what's my end game? What needs to come first? It simplifies everything. Meanwhile, start saving. Always a good starter for 10.
Right, Simon. And that's where this notion of future history comes in. A friend of the author years ago asked him to picture his life in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s and beyond, as if he was living it decades from then. I'll be honest, at 23, I could barely picture age 30, let alone retirement. But that chat, it planted a seed. When you look at your future that way, your priorities change. Suddenly, retirement isn't ages away. It's the bottom line of your entire working life.
He actually acted on it, didn't he? If I remember, he started saving for a pension in his early 20s. Back then, that's well ahead of the curve for most young people of his generation. But are today's young adults any more clued up about pensions?
Yeah, unusually, Yemi made his very first pension contribution at 23. It wasn't bravery, it was seeing that his future self on retirement would either thank him or resent him. That mindset, bottom line up front, future history, those are what triggered his pension journey long before he was earning anything significant.
It's quite clever, isn't it? We talk so much about habits, but sometimes it's just about having a good roadmap, seeing the destination, and putting it front of mind. The rest follows naturally.
So, if we're talking destinations, let's get into the how. The author have this framework, SEAMS M. That's start early, earn more, save more. Can you give the folks at home the big picture?
Sure. Think of SEAMS M as the author's North Star, really. It's all about starting as soon as you can, auto-enrollment, bit of savings, whatever, then always endeavouring to earn more, whether that's negotiating pay, upping your qualifications, snagging a promotion, or by changing jobs. Finally, saving more, boosting contributions, using bonuses, tax perks, you name it. All three working together like a wealth-building engine you just keep cranking up.
Yeah, and people always ask which bit matters most, but you sort of can't separate them, can you? Though I do tell friends usually the earn more bit is what unlocks the rest. If there's nothing extra in the way of disposable income, there's nothing to save or invest.
Exactly. And the author learned, sometimes the hard way, that you need a little of everything. I mean, one thing that gave Yemi a real boost was taking advantage of his employer's matching contribution. If they offered more when he put in more, he jumped at the opportunity. It's literally free money. It's almost rude not to, isn't it?
Oh, it's the best kept secret. I had a friend. She started with a £28,000 salary. Nice job, but not explosive. But what she did, every time she hit a new age milestone, she set a salary target using a multiplier, just as Yemi highlighted in his book, 2 times her age, then 2.5, then 3 as she got older. She hustled, moved jobs strategically, pushed for bonuses, and kept increasing those pension contributions as her pay went up. By her mid-40s, she was raking in over £100,000 in annual salary, and her pension miles ahead of folks who'd barely got started.
That's such a solid example. And for investments, the author stated he always leaned towards exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, FTSE 100, S&P 500, nothing fancy, just a broad basket of stocks to minimize investment risk. Typically, ETFs perform better than most expensive funds over decades, and you avoid the stress of picking winners and losers. Plus, low fees. Can't ignore that.
I mean, there's a temptation, isn't there, to chase the next big thing, but honestly, boring can be beautiful when it comes to pensions. I always say automate, diversify, and check in once a year. Don't micromanage it. The magic happens with compound growth and time.
Couldn't agree more. It's not about heroic leaps. It's incremental changes. If you're earning more, great. Ramp up your pension or salary sacrifice contributions. Don't just spend it on lifestyle upgrades. Stack up those little wins, and they compound over decades, sometimes in ways that surprise the saver.
All right, let's make this practical. How do you actually track your progress? I broke my own journey down by decade. In my 20s, my goal was half my salary in my pension pot. In my 30s, it was annual salary. In my 40s, 3 times salary. 50s, 6 times. And by the time I hit 60, I wanted at least 9 times my salary tucked away. Ambitious, but it keeps you motivated.
Yeah, those milestones, they give you something concrete to aim for. Not just save more, but hit this target. And I like the idea of reviewing, almost like a management process. That's where PDCA comes in, isn't it? Plan, do, check, act. It's not rocket science. You create your plan, you execute, and crucially, you check how it's going. Not enough? Make changes. Too much risk? Dial it back. It's rinse and repeat.
Absolutely. And do not forget to check your national insurance record on the HMRC website. Seriously, check it. No one else is going to do it for you. If you want that full state pension, make sure you've got those qualifying years lined up, or else you'll get a nasty shock later on.
It's one of those things I see all the time. People wake up at 60 and go, "Oh, I didn't realise I was missing all these qualifying years." It can lose you tens of thousands. Better to check early, even if it means a bit of admin today.
And you know, sticking to those milestones isn't always easy. I mean, in my 30s, I really wanted to cut my pension contributions sometimes to free up cash, sometimes just out of insecurity. But I held fast. Having those clear targets, decade by decade, helped keep me anchored, especially when life threw its curveballs.
Yeah, and that's what the author Yemi did as well. He stuck to his savings habit over decades. It's about knowing what matters in the long run. Life always finds a way of throwing a spanner in the works, but if you fix your eyes on that North Star, your future self, your targets, etc., you're much more likely to end up comfortable in retirement, not caught short.
So for everyone listening, don't make retirement planning this massive, intimidating thing. Start today. Break it down, decade by decade, step by step. And review often. Update your targets. And don't be afraid to adjust as your situation changes. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. To quote Lao Tzu from the ancient Chinese text, Tao Te Ching, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." It's a marathon journey, isn't it? I think that's a good spot to wrap up for today. Elizabeth, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Simon, and take care. And thanks to all our listeners. Remember, start early, earn what you're worth, and save as much as you can. We'll be back next episode to dive deeper into building your pension wealth with a podcast of Chapter 2 from Yemi's book. There are 14 chapters altogether, so listeners still have a wealth of podcasts to look forward to.
Take care, Elizabeth. By the way, Yemi's book, Mastering Pension Wealth, a step-by-step guide, is available right now on Amazon UK website, in paperback and hardcover, for listeners interested in a thorough walkthrough of each chapter. The book will make a great Christmas present, and it might just change someone's life for the better. Cheers, everyone.